Alright, I think we're good. Aha! Good evening and welcome to the ARC F1 Emilia Romagna GP tonight, round 5 of 25 here in the ARC F1 series. Already got a few cars on track now for qualifying. Let's see, first one out looks to be, I believe, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Hold on for just a moment, having some trouble with the audio. Alright, should be better now. Alright, back to it. Jonathan Jurg on his first lap out here for round 5 in the ARC F1 series. Jurgensmeyer looking to make a bit of a recovery from last week's performance. Finished P3 but ran very high all race, was looking at a win at one point. However, did manage the podium. He'll be looking for a win today. Last week's winner, of course, at the Chinese GP was Liam Carrig, returning to form in his first race back since the inaugural 2023 ARC F1 GP at Bahrain. Seems to be something else every time he gets into that car, but worth mentioning, of course, that P2 last week in China also, Ethan Fonseca taking it home. Okay, so on to this session. Bit of info about Imola. Known as the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo de Ferrari. 4.9 kilometers, located in Imola, of course. The circuit has undergone several changes over the years, but the current layout features a mix of high-speed straights and fast and flowing corners. A couple tight chicanes thrown in there, too. Track starts with a long straight, which leads into the tight and technical Tamburello corner, where Ayrton famously crashed in 1994. From there, the track features a series of fast and flowing corners, including the Villeneuve chicane and the high-speed Variante Alta. Very high-speed track, of course. Lots of risk to be taken here. Lots of areas where you may get hung out. May see quite our fair share of yellows here, as Jonathan Jurgensmeyer does lay down the first time. 1:16.3. Next on the boards will be Fabian in the McLaren with a 1:16.7. Next, I believe, should be Jurgensmeyer's teammate, Travis, here across the line. Nope, he's on his way out. Into his fast lap now. Ooh, and by 1/100th of a second, it's Mikey de Jong above Jonathan Jurgensmeyer for provisional pole. First 3 times on the board. We're sure to see them fall as the session continues, but so far, pretty representative times. Pretty good pace between the 3 of them, it looks like. As Boryoshi sneaks in there for 3rd with the 1:16.5. Next will be Andrew Davis with the 1:17. We'll be looking to bring that time down a bit. He's about a second off the leader at the moment. Now we're seeing the time start to flow across the board as Al Hazmi takes provisional pole for the time being with the 1:16.1. And moments before that, Josh Bowditch with the 1:16.3. Saw P1 for a split second before Al Hazmi managed to cross the line. May see the Aston Martin of Matt Daly take P6 at the moment with the 1:16.6. Not terrible. Time's starting to really come across now. We have had an early retirement, it looks like. Gabe is out in that Alpine. Right then, next to cross. Looks like it should be. Should be the Alfa Romeo of Dylan Thomas. It is not. It's Jamie Knock. Into 8th place with the 16.9. Some incident afoot for Travis there, it seems. Coming across almost 20 seconds off the pace. Didn't manage to catch what happened there, but he'll be looking to bring it in and come back out for another one. Time currently sitting at 11.5 minutes. Plenty of time to lay down more times, I'm sorry. Let the track rubber in and find your footing more so. Very fast flowing track, so lines here shouldn't be too easy to lose or to not pick up on. It should be just right to it from the practice sessions that they had earlier. Right. So while Hasmi remains on provisional pole with the 116.1, doesn't seem that anybody is on a hot lap at the moment. Travis does seem to be harvesting. Right then. Emilia, of course, is always a fan favorite. Very challenging layout. The racing here can get dicey, but the high speed alone, it's the weed is really separated from the chaff here. People that are comfortable with the lines that they know well and they're confident in will see success, while people that may still be getting their feet wet with it will obviously not be able to handle some of these banks and whatnot with the same speed that those with plenty of experience will. Right then. Jurgensmeyer back out on a fast lap, it seems. Tucked it in, looking to improve on that 16.3 he's currently sitting on. And he does not improve. Slightly off. However, fastest third sector, so shows promise maybe for his next time out. Yellows are out. Should be quick though. Let's look to see if we can pick up the incident. May have been Andrew in the Alpine. Right. So, a few drivers still yet to put a time on the board. Sitting now a little over 8 minutes left in the session. Dylan Thomas probably looking for some success here. Manages to make his way through a little bit of traffic pretty easily. Looking to put his first time in the session on the board here. And it is Mikey DeYoung. Quietly into the 15.9s. First man into the 15 on provisional pole now. Less than 8 minutes to go in the session. And it's Tom Riddle who does improve. Boriyoshi sitting on the 116.108. 8 1,000ths behind the time of Al Hazmi there in the Williams. fast lap runners making their way back into the pit. Let's see here. Anybody on a fast one? Following along now with Person, who does seem to be on a fast lap. May have bailed out, actually, given the flags out on track. Looks like he has. That Aston Martin behind him does seem to be charging, however, has made space for the Alfa Romeo. I believe it's Jamie Knock now to cross the line into P6 with the 16.5. And it is a retirement from Andrew Davis. Not sure what went wrong, but he's going to have to sit on that 17.3 and hope for the best. Little over 5 minutes left in the session, 5.5. And it's the Aston Martin of AJ that we're following along with for this one. Currently on a fast lap, may run into some slight traffic, but should be a good time regardless, sitting currently in 14th with the 1:17.5. And it is AJ crossing the line there with the 1:16.5. Puts him P6. Right ahead of Jamie Knock. Right behind Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. As we do see Al Hazmi right over the 1:16s. 1:16.049. Currently P2 with teammate Mikey de Jong on provisional pole. Only one in the 1:15s at the moment. Few cars out on track. May Fabian be on a fast lap now? Looks like he has just began a fast lap. Alright, and retirement from Fabian. Alright. Gotta admit, did not see that coming. He's gonna have to sit on his 1:16.7 and hope for the best with that time as well. 3 drivers retired so far. And it's Jurg that seems to be off. May have had a bit of an issue. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer currently sitting P3. Very tight timings, it seems, up the top. Mikey de Jong ahead of teammate Al Hazmi by what appears to be 8 100ths, while the gap from Mikey de Jong, or Al Hazmi to Jonathan Jurgensmeyer itself is only about 2 100ths, and the gap there from Jonathan Jurgensmeyer to P4 Boriyoshi, only 3 100ths of a second. Tight times between those top 4. Seems the benchmark is to get into the 9s, the 1:15.9s if possible. Bit of movement here. One driver still on track that is yet to set a time. If all goes well on this lap, there should be one on the board, however. Jurgensmeyer retiring from P3 with the 16.073. Only about a minute left in the session. Probably doesn't imagine that that time can be touched, and we'll have to see. Fleury Julio into P6 with 16.386. That will be his final lap, so he'll see where he'll stand come the end of the session. As the final seconds of the qualifying session wind down, we'll be keeping our eyes close to the timing board, watching for movement, as there is some movement. Sean in the McLaren down to P13 at the moment, falling from, I believe, P9 beforehand. Time's just going up as these last few seconds roll in. May see Jamie Knock lay down a time, and he does. Provisional pole it is. 1:15.938 gets Mikey de Jong by about 3/100ths of a second. That does, of course, push the retired Jonathan Jurgensmeyer down to P5 from P4. And we'll see if one of these Aston Martins has something to say about it. It is Matt Daly currently. He will be next to cross the line, and we'll see what time he can lay down, currently sitting P10. P6 it is for Matt Daly with the 1:16.19. TST Tyler across the line does not manage to improve. He'll be starting P14 for now. A few more laps yet to be finished. And it's AJ onto pole. Oh, with the buzzer beater right as the session ends by 0.5 as well, by 0.05 of a second. Bit larger of a gap. Oh, and it's Josh Bowditch who gets AJ by nearly 0.3. Wow. Josh Bowditch on provisional pole. Maybe a few laps yet to be put in, but it does not seem like it. Last gasps here for none. So, it seems our grid is provisionally set. Pole it is for the Emilia Romagna GP here at Imola for Josh Bowditch. Rather unexpected to see the Williams of Al Hazmi and Mikey de Jong fall from P1 and P2 with about 2 minutes left in the session to, I believe, P4 and P6. However, it will be Josh Bowditch. Josh on pole with AJ taking P2 to start the race. Jamie Knock starting from P3. Mikey de Jong and Boriyoshi, P4 and P5. Al Hazmi starting P6, with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer falling to P7 from his retirement in P4. Matt Daly starting P8. Matthew Stott starting P9. Julius will be P10 in the Mercedes, and Fabian in the McLaren in P11. Right, person in P12, Sean Cosley, P13, and Tyler in P14. Well, race time it is. Here from Inola, let's get it going. Having some audio trouble at the moment. Sorry for that. Right, so here we are, at Imola, of course. Home to some of the most iconic moments in motorsport history. Of course, you had the Senna-Prost battles, Hamilton Verstappen. Right, so on to the grid for the race start we go. Formation lap underway with Josh currently on pole. AJ, of course, will be looking up the outside of him going into the first chicane, looking to make that move stick. Josh a bit unexperienced, so if he'll hold his line, that of course will be something special for him. So what's there to expect tonight? Track starts with a long straight, which leads into the Titan Technical Tamburello. From there, the track features a series of fast and flowing corners, including the Villeneuve chicane and the high-speed Variante Alta. Back straight leads into the fast and challenging Ravazza. Requires drivers to brake pretty hard before accelerating out into the final straight. Circuit finishes with the double chicane of Variante Bassa, which requires drivers to take a tight line and navigate the corners with precision. Imola is known for its challenging layout, one of the hardest tracks on the F1 calendar. Several high-speed corners and elevation changes require precision and skill from the drivers. How much of that we'll see tonight? Not too sure, but that's why we're here to see, just in case. So, coming back to the grid, second row will be Jamie Knock and Mikey de Jong. That battle should be interesting, as those are both pretty experienced drivers, pretty skilled drivers. Maybe a podium position or a win from that position at play here for the both of them. It's in with Al-Hazmi sitting back in P6. Great driver there in the Williams. Both Williams drivers just phenomenal this season, currently leading the championship. Boryoshi, however, in P5, pulling that Red Bull up. That Red Bull team has been a bit quiet so far this season, so it'll be good to see where he can manage to put it today. A few quick DSQs. Disqualified, looks like for nothing at all. Violations at the start, will be put to the back. It's lights out and away we go for Josh, currently in P1. AJ up the outside, has a much better run. Josh may have let up for him. Wasn't looking for the battle, it seems. Slots in right behind AJ. Looks to be just playing it safe at the moment, running those medium tires, as we do see both of them running medium tires, actually. Al-Hazmi up to P3, however. From P6 on the start, oh, totally missed it. However, currently in P3, leading that little chain. Making the move on the outside of Josh, and if he does make it stick, Josh is relenting. He's not looking to cause trouble tonight, it seems. He will be just hanging back off the fights. So it's AJ away with half a second gap over Al-Hazmi, P2. Josh fighting from P3 with Mikey de Jong behind him. A gap growing between the two. Not a huge one, but sizable enough where if it continues to grow at this rate, Mikey de Jong will be struggling with the DRS train that will be building behind him. Through the chicane. Not enough gap closed for Mikey de Jong to be looking to make a move. However, the gap from him to Jamie Knock itself is also growing. Jamie with Boryoshi right in tow behind him, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in P7. Holding fast from where he started, did not lose positions on the race start, but will be looking to gain some perhaps here. Right, so it is AJ taking the lead off the start, the relent from Josh, from P2 into the lead for the second lap of the Emilia Romagna GP. Al-Hazmi seems to be creeping up on him a bit. May just be reminding him that he's there. Maybe looking to take the fight to him, we'll see. It is still too early to tell though. the strategies will start to pan out differently from one another as the race goes on, but for now it seems that to take the fight to somebody else too hard on the second lap may cause trouble, as we do see the predicted pit strategies being the medium to hard, and then the second stint involving a soft tire stint. Or the second strategy, I'm sorry, involving soft tires. Right, Al-Hazmi may have just been getting into AJ's mirrors, letting him know that he's there, as he has dropped back a little bit, staying quite comfortably in tow, however. Josh keeping right up with them as well. Mikey DeYoung has not looked to make a move on Josh since since the end of the first lap. Right, so gap from Mikey DeYoung to Jamie Knock continues to grow, as Blue Yoshi does make the move stick on the outside of Jamie Knock up into P5. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer maybe looking to pick up the scraps here. He does, he looks up the inside of Jamie Knock in slight contact, Jamie onto the grass. Jurgensmeyer is going to lose out to Matt Daly because of the contact. Matt Daly looking to pick up the scraps of the fight. He does make the move stick around the outside of Jamie Knock. Up into P6 for Matt Daly. Holding them tight on the outside, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer does also get around Jamie Knock, and we see Matthew Stotts up into P9, looking to pick up something from this fight as well. DRS train here may be a problem once DRS is activated. Fabian in P10, he sees points ahead of him and he's willing to fight for them, as always. As we saw last week, he was at the end of the DRS train, right at the end of the race, and for whatever trouble came up ahead, he managed to find his way around and got a great finish off of it. So props to him. Maybe looking to make the same happen this week. Right, to the front we go as Al-Hazmi does get a little bit closer to AJ. Coming down the start-finish straight through the first chicane. Gap stays right around 3/10. So yeah, looks like they're just kind of playing it comfortable, playing it safe, not looking to leapfrog each other. Josh and Mikey DeYoung, of course, staying right with them still, as Matt Daly has also made up a little bit of ground from P6 to Boriyoshi ahead of him. Boriyoshi at the tail of that lead pack. Right, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer dropping about half a second to Matt Daly also. People are starting to find their rhythm, seeing where the fight is worth fighting and where it may not be, and we did see for a moment that gap between Boriyoshi and Matt Daly up to about 1.2 seconds, down now to around 9/10, yep, currently sitting at 9/10. Do have a yellow is Tyler, who seems he's had an incident. That, of course, coming sometime after an incident from Andrew Davis in the Alpine. Didn't catch that one, but he does find himself at the back of the grid now. Tyler will be looking to make a recovery from P18 on those mediums. Not too much in terms of movement now that people are settling in. Fabian holding tight in that 10th position. Jamie not looking to waste his tires away too early in the session. We do see the move made on... Oh, we see an incident perhaps from Lugao. Has lost a few positions here, as Gabe and the Haas do make their way past him. Oh, and it's Al-Hazmi who's had a big incident. May have involved another driver, but he falls to P10 from P2. Oh, everybody moving up a position. It is now Mikey DeYoung's fight to take up with AJ. Currently about 8/10 behind him, with Josh now dropping to about 7/10 behind Mikey DeYoung. Oh, and Al-Hazmi, not too sure what happened there, but he does fall to P10, and he will be looking to fight back. Of course, we will see him. We'll see him again. Have some faith. So, of course, it is Mikey de Jong now taking up the fight against AJ. AJ leading by about 7/10. It is a track limits penalty there for Josh Bowditch, but he is sticking tight with that lead pack. Has not had too much in terms of incidents thus far. Well, as far as we've seen, at least. Currently sitting P3. Mikey de Jong right up on the back of AJ now in P2, making the move around the inside, it looks like. Looking one way, looking the other, cannot seem to find the lane around him. Right up onto the back of him through the chicane, lets up, gives some distance, but that gap, wow, was right around 0.3 of a second. Now down to less than 1. Back up to about 2.5 at the moment. Mikey de Jong taking the fight really to AJ. Some great driving to hold tight there, given the incident that happened to his teammate. Still holding tight, holding off Matt Daly back there in P4, looking ahead of his teammate in the lead. Matt Daly racing a great race himself at the moment. And it's a big incident from Josh, it looks like, and Mikey de Jong. Oh. So it is Matt Daly making his way through whatever just happened there, up into P2 with teammate AJ right ahead. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer picking up the scraps of that as well up into P3, as Boryoshi now finds himself in P4. Matt Stotts from the back up to P5. Jamie Knock in P6, taking the fight to Matt Stotts after a big moment. Steps way out there, does allow Jamie Knock to get by. Fabian up into P7. And of course, Al-Hazmi right on his tail in P8, looking to make the most of what's happened to him so far this race. Only a quarter of the way through just about, and we are seeing incidents afoot. McGowan losing a position to Gabe. Josh continues the descent into the gravel, down to P12 at the moment. As Matt Stotts himself has had a big incident. Oh, may have had contact with the wall. Down to P13 he goes as Jamie Knock up into P5 and Boryoshi slotting P4. Right, so Jurgensmeyer right up there with 2 Aspens in the lead at the moment. Gap about half a second. Closer to Matt Daly than Matt is to AJ. At least for the moment. Yoshi, of course, right there behind. However, did lose about a tenth through that first sector. And it's Jamie Knock now taking the fight to the leaders. In P5, not too far behind, well within DRS range. Al-Hazmi in P6 sitting on a 2.5 second gap to Jamie Knock in P5, but that gap is sure to shrink as this stint rolls on. Fidel Fabian also, just right up on the back of Al-Hazmi through there. Sitting P7, he'll be looking to make the most of that position. Jurgensmeyer right up on the back of Matt Daly. Coming down the start-finish straight. Will he step out and make a move? He's looking up the outside. Does not seem to have it. Oh, he does try to make it stick anyway, and he... Wow! A brave move. He saw the gap and he just absolutely yoinked it. Up into P2, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer for the moment. Tom Riddle losing out on the spot to Jamie Knock. That's Moriyoshi falling to P5 and Fabian up to P6. Right then, so will Matt Daly be looking to snatch that second place back from Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on this lap? Does not seem to want to. He might be playing his cards here. Might not want to take the fight to him too hard at the moment. But he's got to be in communication with AJ about what their plan is to do next at this moment. I'm sure they will be strategizing around that one car between them, trying to see how they can just remove it and eliminate it from the equation entirely. Well, not entirely as in exterminate it. However, just kind of get it out of their way. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is holding on quite well, though. Up on AJ. He has been holding his own very well so far this race. A few into the pits now. It is Josh and Boryoshi, it looks like. Mikey DeYoung getting up past his teammate. May have been a strategy call there. Some team orders at play. On the hard tires has been released. Right. So, Jamie Knock onto the back of Matt Daly. Currently sitting P4, looking at that final podium position and probably thinking that it's his lifeline at the moment. His finishes throughout the season have not been probably what he's hoped for. Has shown some great pace throughout, but has not managed to translate it to points thus yet. Or at least substantial points that should have been expected given some of his race positions. But for one reason or another, whether an incident or whatever else may have you, Jamie Knock has just ran into some misfortune and terrible bad luck this season. He'll be looking to make the most of the position he currently holds with Matt Daly in P4. already building a bit of a gap. Matt Daly does not seem to want to make a rebuttal to the move of Jamie Knock. But of course, lap 13, strategies may be at play. Jamie, of course, on those hard tires. Gap closing quick between Mikey de Jong and Fidel Fabian for that P5 position at the moment. Teammate Al-Hazmi and the other Williams is about 2 seconds behind. Probably holding pat. Looking to make better moves probably in the second stint. Did have the incident where he saw himself fall from P2 down to P10 earlier this race. Right. So, gap between Jamie Knock and Jurgensmeyer shrinking by just a bit this lap. Matt Daly backing far out, about 1.5 seconds off of those lead three. Not sure what happened there, but the gap between the three of them was not too large last we looked, as it is leader AJ into the pits. Maybe looking to make the undercut here on Jurgensmeyer. However, the strategy may have evolved a bit now that Jamie Knock has also entered the fray. Right, so everybody from P10, well, AJ, the only leader, or the only racer in the top 4, it looked like, that pitted. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Jamie Knock, and Matt Daly staying out. So, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, at the moment, finds himself in the lead of this race, yet to pit. As we see some of the... Take a look at some of the compounds being run, see if there's strategies to call here. There is retirement from Josh in P17. Oh, those first few laps he was running pretty well with the leaders, but couldn't make it stick after 6 or 7 or so. So it is Jurgensmeyer now into the pit, as it is Jamie Knock on the hards still out, extending his stint, currently in the lead. Matt Daly, however, finds himself P2 on those 15-lap-old mediums. Maybe looking to make a move soon. Right then, so different strategies, of course, shuffling the grid around quite a bit. Jurgensmeyer on exit does lose out to Boriyoshi. Jurgensmeyer onto the hard tires, and now finds himself 2 cars behind AJ. Himself also on the hard tires, it looks like, yeah. And it is Matt Daly into the pits from those medium tires. The highest medium tire runner, he will have an extra lap on his hards, given the rest of the leaders that pit a lap before he did. We'll see where he manages to slot out from this group coming down the straight now. And he will miss out on all positions, as he finds himself being crept on now by Fidel Fabian. And Al-Hazmi does make the move around Fidel Fabian, Going into the first corner, through the chicane he goes, sitting P10. Matt Daly into P9 after that pit run. So he does lose out quite a bit of time to Jurgensmeyer. Currently P8, as AJ is just making moves happen, already up to P4. Matthew Stott's giving him a run for his money though, AJ up the inside. So, yet to pit, let's take a look. It is our leaders, Jamie Knock and Mikey DeYoung, as well as person in the Mercedes who is not pit, and Matthew Stotts in P5. Gabe in the Alpine currently P8, also yet to pit on his medium tires. AJ now tight on the back of that Mercedes, does make the move around the outside. Can he make it stick? On those fresher hard tires, gets the Mercedes and does take P3 for the moment. Boriyoshi looking to do the same thing. And it's Matt Stotts who has had an incident. He's spun, finds himself backwards, rights the ship, down to P12. Oh, and for a first stint that was going so well, that's just gonna sting. I'm sure that hurts. Has not pit yet, but I'm sure he will be making that consideration now, given the circumstances. What a great first stint, but you hate to see it. Right. To the leaders, as it is the Mercedes, a person who does come into the pits finally. AJ with some room to run, however, only in front and not behind, as it is Boriyoshi looking to take the fight to him, currently about half a second behind, but plenty of space to make that move stick if he finds a good one to make. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, of course, also right behind Boriyoshi in P5. Maybe looking to pick up the scraps of whatever fight that Boriyoshi is going to take to AJ in the coming corners. So at this point, it's only really a question of when we will see those lead two drivers come in for their pit run. The only two in the top 5 who have not pit. However, Gabe in P7 also has not pit. Only driver currently on medium tires. Everybody else opting for the hards for their second stint, as well as the two leaders who opted for their first stint. Oh, and Boriyoshi making a move on Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, currently finds himself P4 after it, right up on AJ. And Matt Daly, not to be forgotten back there. He is not terribly far behind, making up some distance to that chase pack at the moment. Was about a second and a half behind on the previous lap, now finds himself only about a second behind. All of them, of course, on fresh tires. AJ leading the charge with plenty of room to breathe ahead of him. But again, a whole gang breathing down his neck behind him, as Jurgensmeyer, close to Boriyoshi, will not have space to make a move. Everybody, it seems, holding station for the moment. Matt Daly makes up another 3/10 on the previous lap to that chase pack ahead of him. Loses out on the DRS train, though, as all of that time gained is immediately lost. Oh, saw his split go from a little over half a second, now sitting at about 1.1. If he can just pull up into the back of that DRS train, small DRS train it is, he will be just great. He will be good to go. And it is Gabe from P7 into the pit. Was the final driver on the medium tires. Will be opting for the hards, I imagine, now. And Jamie Knock finally into the pit from the lead. Mike de Jong also into the pit from P2. Now it'll be interesting to hear where they managed to get spit back out in the order. AJ, of course, will cross and likely be leading this race come the first chicane. However, Jamie Knock may have done it unbelievably well and does find himself maintaining the lead of the race. Onto those medium tires, and at this point, this is Jamie Knock's race to lose. Over 2.5 second gap to AJ in P2. Matt de Jong getting absolutely shafted after that pit exit. Finds himself P6 and a second down on Matt Daly in P5. Sheesh, yellows are out. Few cars into the pits. AJ now may be wondering how in the world he will make a move stick on Jamie Knock as AJ's running those hard tires. Jamie pitting to the mediums. Starting the race on the hard tires himself. Managed to stick out his stint long enough to see the lead and pit with enough of a gap to maintain that lead come the exit. As the safety car does pick up the leaders now. AJ will be making his way into the pit, as does Boriyoshi and Jonathan Juergensmeyer, probably opting for those medium tires. Fidel Fabian also into the pit. Julius onto the softs. Lap 23 we find ourselves. May have some breathing room with the rest of the safety car, but that is a bold move. Will be interesting to see where he ends up. Let's take a look at some of the tire choices. Wow, lots opting for the softs. AJ from P5 on the softs. Ooh. I did say only moments ago that this was Jamie Knock's race to lose. However, that was before the safety car incident unfolded, so at this point, it's his to hang on to, that's for sure, but it's not as clear-cut as it was beforehand. They'll be making some adjustments, some strategy calls, and adjusting their plan probably to suit the situation now. Matt Daly hung out to dry, however, on those 6-lap-old hard tires from P2. Al-Hazmi also, 8-lap-old hard tires from P4. Given that it will be a safety car restart, this lead pack from P1 down to about P7 will see some major shaking up. And by that, I could mean that we may see P1 to P7 get totally switched with P8 to P13. They may just fully reverse the grid. Probably not, but it would be cool to see. Right, 9 laps to go. Find ourselves under safety car at the moment. Lots of drivers opting for that soft tire for this final stint. The safety car really did bail out plenty of drivers that may have not made the best of calls come their second stint for tires. But on we go from the Emilia Romagna region of Italy. Drivers, of course, trying to keep some life in those tires. Waiting for the last few to catch up to the safety car pack. It looks like it will be one more time around behind the safety car. A few drivers still yet to catch the end. Oh, we may get lucky here. Nope, does not seem like it. So on we go. First lap, back to racing after this will be the 26th lap. Only a 7-lap stint at full pace. That's great news, of course, for those soft tire runners. Not so great for those hard tire runners of Matt Daly in P2 and Al Hazmi P4. However, Jamie Knock and Mikey DeYoung, I believe, on the mediums as well. They are, so it will be very interesting to see what happens just with that first 6 or so drivers. So around we go yet again. A few drivers, it seems, lost the pack. They've fallen off the back, so we will wait yet again for them to catch back up. Hopefully they can manage to make it back to the rest of the pack in a timely manner so that we do not have to be stuck for another lap. Oh, it looks like the safety car will be in regardless. Jamie Knock holding up the pack by quite a margin as well. Wow. Really just decided 50 miles per hour is plenty. Let that safety car do what it does. I'm going to do what I do. Pack really bunching up now. People not too sure how to figure it out. And it's away for Jamie Knock with a bit of a twist coming out of that final corner. Across the line now, maintaining the lead of the race. Matt Daly sitting P2, Mikey DeYoung in P3, but will it be AJ making the move up the inside of Al Hazmi from P5, does not manage to make it stick on those soft tires though. Of course he will be looking to make another move from the next few corners. He is, I believe, the highest of the soft tire runners, a bit into the gravel, dips 2 tires. Bit of a gap growing, however, between Mikey DeYoung in P3 and teammate Al Hazmi in P4. Al Hazmi, of course, on those hard tires. Lots of action here in the midfield. Will it be Fabian making the move on Jurgensmeyer? It won't. Not quite close enough. Jurgensmeyer, however, right up on the back of that Red Bull of Boryoshi. Slight gap to AJ from Boryoshi. Looks like AJ just has that tire advantage and is putting it right to work early enough. 1 second already from P5 to P6. Matt Daly may be looking to give the business to Mikey DeYoung, however. Does not. Ooh, dips it on the left side also. Teammate AJ just did the same. Al-Hazmi was looking to capitalize off that mistake, and he does here. Looking up the outside of Matt Daly, and he does make it stick. Teammate AJ also around Matt Daly. Wow, and that was scary for a moment there. One may have seen teammates come together, but does manage to stick it without incident. And now these Astons will be looking to just pick their way up. AJ, of course, on those soft tires, with Al-Hazmi on the hard tires ahead of him. About half a second ahead, that is. And it's Jamie Knock on the mediums. Seemed to find some life in those mediums already, as he's built himself quite a lead over Mikey DeYoung in P2. AJ looking to take the fight, however, to Al-Hazmi come this lap. May play it safe. Does seem to be harvesting, actually. 5 laps remaining here. And it's an incident for Matt Daly. To the back he goes, oh, and a big spin. May have had some contact. Oh. To P15 goes Matt Daly. Only a lap off the restart. Oh, in those hard tires, just maybe not quite found the life in them that he needed. So it's AJ, the lone Aston, up there now. The highest runner of the soft tires. He will be looking to probably take P2 and maybe even P1 over the next few laps. Not that many remaining. Coming across the line will be 4 laps to go. Jamie Knock crossing now. And wow, was really shaping up to be quite the Grand Prix for that Aston team of AJ and Matt Daly, but fireworks late send Matt to the back, and it's AJ's race from here. To P4 it is, onto the back of Al-Hazmi in P3, who finds himself almost a second behind teammate Matty DeYoung. Fabian holding steady in P7, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer making his way back to P6. Finds himself pretty close to Boryoshi ahead of him. Both running the medium tires. Oh, and it's the Mercedes who runs a bit wide. Loses out to the McLaren on that one. Oh, and it's Al-Hazmi who's had himself quite the moment. Rights the ship with Luke Allen with some Tokyo Drift behind him for good measure. Al-Hazmi down to P13 after the incident. Not too sure what happened there, but I'm sure he isn't happy about it. Oh, those hard tires. Both him and Matt Daly, the 2 highest hard tire runners, having separate incidents that send them to the back. And they will be languishing on those hard tires for the rest of the race, probably kicking themselves for that strategy call, given the safety car situation late. And so at this point, I suppose it's Jamie Knock's race to lose, currently sitting P1. Of course, yet to score a point this season, has ran as high as P2 and P1 previously in the ARC F1 season. but incidents abound for him. He's not found his way into the points just yet, through 4 races thus far. And what a better way to score your first points of the season than with a win. I'm sure he's thinking just that now. Gap down about a 10th to Matty de Jong in P2 since the last lap. I'm sorry, Mikey de Jong. He will be looking to make up as much time as he can to Jamie Knock because he knows that AJ on those soft tires, 1 place behind him, will be taking the fight to him soon enough. And it's Boriyoshi maybe looking to make the move up the inside of AJ here. He does. He has plenty of space. Through the first chicane, finds himself in the final podium position. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer looking to pick up the scraps of the fight too now. He does. Oh, the confidence! A bit too much, perhaps. An incident, tires touch. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer has a spin, does not find his way off track, manages to right the ship, and he's going again without losing out too terribly. However, down to P8 he goes from P5. Oh. Late incidents abound, it seems. Mikey de Jong closing the gap by another 1/10 of a second, but it's going to take much more than that if he hopes to bear down on the back of Jamie Knock in P1. Jamie crossing the line for the final lap of the Grand Prix. The gap now 2 seconds to Mikey de Jong in P2. Boriyoshi in the final podium position with AJ quite a ways back. Could not manage to make this stint count any better than P4. I'm sure he had aspirations for the win given that he was the highest runner of those soft tires. 2 big incidents with the hard tire runners of Matt Daly and Al Hazmi send them to P13 and P14 in separate incidents. AJ currently sitting just by himself in P4, and I'm sure there's no complaints, but there's definitely questions asked. So into the final sector goes Jamie Knock in the lead. However, down about 8/10 just in this lap alone through the first 2 sectors to Mikey de Jong in P2. Boriyoshi himself a second behind Mikey de Jong. May not have enough to make that move stick for that P2. And so it is Jamie Knock around the final corner here at Imola. Crossing the line a second ahead and taking the win in front of Mikey de Jong in P2 and Boriyoshi with the final podium position. It'll be AJ in P4 and perhaps some trouble. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer taking P5. Fidel Fabian crosses P6, solid race for him. And there you have it, folks. The 2023 ARC Formula 1 Emilia Romagna GP from here at Imola. It will be Jamie Knox scoring his first points of the season with a victory. What a way to do that. Right, and so Mikey de Jong takes the second, and Boriyoshi with P3, his second podium finish of the season for the Red Bull. AJ up to P4, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer takes that P5. Fidel Fabian in the McLaren behind him in P6. Tyler Crabtree in the Ferrari P7. Great finish for him given the early incident. Julius in the Mercedes in P8, and Person in the Mercedes also. Teammates finishing side by side. P9, Sean Costley in the McLaren P10. Matt Daly down to P11, does manage to recover a few positions after that late incident. Luke Allen P12 in the Red Bull. Dylan Thomas in P13. Al Hazmi only manages to get P14 after that incident. Wow. And there you have it, folks. Some early retirements, some late fireworks, a bit of this and a bit of that. That's what Emilia gives you, a fast-flowing circuit that not everybody can race too well, and that shows. Come race time, it's always an incident or another here. Just too fast of a circuit to trust yourself and those around you to lay down a great race. But Jamie Knock, wow, he does manage to pull it out tonight. And that'll do it for us, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the 2023 ARC Formula 1 Emilia Romagna GP. And we will see you, let me check the schedule here, next week at Miami. All right, signing off.